Easy people. So basically, we're gonna do a bit of revelation today, bit of revealing. Excuse me. A few secrets, bit of esoteric Christianity. So we're going to be talking about hell. Where does it come from? Where do we get? We know that it's not true. We know that it's a lie. We know that you can't burn when you're a spirit. However, the lie must be based on truth. There must be truth in it, so that they can say plausible deniability. If you're not smart enough to research it and look it up and work it out, then so be it. If you want to be a fool, be a fool. You know, if your life means that much that you can't even sit down and research what's going to happen in the future, what's happened in the past. If you ain't going to research those two things, then, you know, your life ain't worth living. You're basically like winging it. There is no solidity to your life if you haven't got the time to do a bit of research. I understand people have got to. I work myself personally, so I understand that people work. I understand people but there is no excuse for having an hour for meditation every day. It's important for you. It's important for you to balance yourself and to raise yourself above those thoughts that dominate your mind and that control your consciousness. You need to raise yourself above that. So, esoteric knowledge. Basically, we're talking about the sun. It's a metaphor. When you reincarnate, you do it through the moon. You come back to Earth, or you reincarnate into another place. But the sun is where you go to judgment, which is why they say hellfire, because the sun is on fire, and that's where you go for judgment. If your consciousness is going to be extinguished, if you're going to go to a lower realm or descend rather than ascend, then you'll go through the sun rather than the moon. And you can't escape that. This is why they're trying to stop the self. They're trying to conquer death. This is a decree on this earth, and you can't get round it other than through God, because it's like, say the power going into my TV set is God. No matter what I do to that TV set, the power that powers that TV set will always be God. And I can't get, it won't work any other way unless I plug it into a power source. Do you understand? God is the power. Now, that same power can be used for good or for evil. It says in the Bible, I do the good, I do evil, I do these things. God says he does these things. He does evil and he does good. Yeah? We're going to take a quick look at artifact. Now this is a Freemason. Can you see? This is a Freemason. It goes round like this, basically. But the symbolism on it, so you can see that this here is God, the power. Male, female. Divide the atom, divide the atom, male, female. Electricity, magnetism. Atomic energy, magnetism, electricity. Positive, negative, polarity. So this is how it works. And I'm not a Mason, by the way. I have a lot of artifacts. I collect ancient text, ancient stuff. That belonged to a guy called Joseph Smith from Accrington as well. He died, and I acquired some of his belongings. Through legitimate means. I've purchased it, I've bought it legitimately. So, it's mine, I own it. I have other stuff, old books, ancient texts, ancient scriptures. I have a lot of stuff that, knowledge. I love knowledge. I love stuff you can't get hold of. Secret knowledge is what I'm all about, me. You know, you can't beat a bit of angels and demons. You know, bit of and that's what that is as well. And can you see? And these here. These are the 7 planets. The energies that hang over these polarities. So there's a lot of symbolism in this. Like, we can talk about this for hours. There is loads of symbolism in this. Like, from just the shape of it. Golden ratio. But yeah, these are the 7 powers, or the 7 planets or influences that hang above you while you're in duality. Male, female, while you're divided. This is androgynous. This is atomic energy, or Shiva, the destroyer. See, Christianity, what it's done is people are reading the story, the symbolic story, as a true historical document, which in some respects it is. It has got historical facts in the Bible, but it's not a historical document. The characters probably aren't real. Probably, I'm not sure. But the higher knowledge that contained within the text, which I'm trying to explain to you now, there's no hell. Hell is the sun. They're talking about the sun. If you're bad, if you do evil things, if you're negative, then your polarity will draw you to the sun. The sun's good in the physical, negative in the spiritual. You're in trouble. Sun worshippers, you know, it's okay. The sun's good for you, but it's an energy that we transmute and use as energy for ourselves. We can, like, if the sun don't come up, we're screwed, aren't we, basically. So there is negative realms where you will lose your free will. You will become a slave. You will become somebody who's forced to do what they're told. And it's harrowing. I won't even think about it. Honestly, the minute that I found about this negative path, I'm off that shit one altogether. I do stupid things out of ignorance sometimes, but I'm a good person in my heart. And when that's weighed, honestly, I'm a good person. I've sacrificed myself many times for people. Many times. I'm the most unselfish, the most innovative person when it comes to dealing with friends and with people around me. I like to help them to cure their ills and their problems. I'm degree level psychology. I could be a doctor if it weren't for the fact that I had a criminal record. I would be a doctor in psychology. Spirituality. I spent a long time in prison where I spent a lot of time on my own, and I learnt to meditate. You know, there's nowhere else to go when you're in prison but inward. You know, many people don't do it. And I did it for a long time. I used to pace myself like a caged animal until I realised that I want an animal. You know, I've got my visionary experience in here. What can take me anywhere. And this is what it's all about. You need to unlock this baby. unlock your pineal gland. If that eye be single, your body will be full of light. We're talking about particles, energy, interaction between photons, and you basically, when you vibrate your electrons around your pineal gland, you draw in photons, and then you start to, this is where you get the brightness or the halo. You start to glow. If you meditate for ages, you will glow because you absorb photons, which is particles of light. So, basically, that's what it's all about. There's nothing to fear. Nothing to fear. Number one, you cannot die. You can't die. You're reincarnated, and the Bible says it over and over again, esoterically, but it's there. Yeah? Most people don't bother reading the Bible. I'm going to read it live on YouTube, the full lot, in 15-minute sections. I will do it start to finish. And we're already on our way. We're already into Matthew now. And we'll carry on and we'll do the full lot, 15-minute sections. I'm not going to be messing around with long videos. I want to give people bite-sized bits of knowledge that's going to give them peace, a bit of peace. And everything that I've told you is researchable. And it's the truth. Yeah? So Jesus is the sun in the sky. And he's your judge. Trust me. Nothing goes unnoticed. Nothing goes unnoticed. You do not get away with anything. The visual light spectrum is 0.0035, less than a percentage we see with our eyes of what's going on in this world. Very little, unless you meditate and you open your third eye. Then you get the electromagnetic spectrum as well, blended in with your visual spectrum. So, it's important that you meditate, take a bit of time for yourselves. Forget this fear of death, forget this hell, forget all that stuff. And we're going to dissect Christianity as well, because people are hurting themselves listening to the church. I believe this book's divine. I believe that. All that is, I believe. The people that wrote this were geniuses, and they were absolutely spiritual. It might have been edited, it might have been messed about with a little bit, but it's there. So, peace everyone. Please don't fear. There is no hell. Cool.